All right, guys. So hopefully you've gotten this far, and hopefully you guys made some adjustments to this Revit model. Maybe you added a bedroom or made certain rooms bigger. Hopefully you guys are kind of exploring beyond just the initial homework. And as a matter of fact, I haven't put in upper cabinets here. Maybe we'll do that. A couple of things to look out for. You see my sink that's here. Maybe the sink and the window should be centered so that it doesn't, look off. Let's do those basic things now. I'm going to get to the first floor plan here. There's a tool in Revit called Align tool, and boy, how do I get there? Give me a sec here. Let me move this around. I think it's modify. There it is, Align. But I always use a shortcut key, AL. And again, I highly, highly recommend that you learn how to use these shortcuts, and it'll just make your workflow so much easier. So it's AL. I'll hit the middle of the sink and then hit that and then align it. And then I'll even sometimes lock it. And that way, if I move the sink, the window moves with it. But anyhow, I think I'm pretty good here. I think what I want to do is kind of shift to kind of setting up the sheets, so that we can start creating our conducts. So you notice on my project browser, I don't have any sheets, meaning I don't have any paper to place all my drawings in so that I can print and submit to the building department. So you have to start creating your own sheets from scratch. So if you go under the View tab and then you hit Sheets, it's going to ask you what kind of sheet do you want. And again, this is a Revit out of the box. So it doesn't really have the sheet that we want as architects. What we need is a 24 by 36 sheet of paper. And we call that an architecture D size. By default right now, Revit has E size paper or E1. And that's 30 inches by 42 inches, which is quite large sheet of paper. And usually when you're using that size paper, you're usually doing pretty large buildings, all right? So what we need to do is we need to create our own title block with a different paper size. So what we want to do is we actually want to load in title block family. Again, in Revit, everything is referred to as a family. And in this case, we want a title block family. So you want to hit load here and then go to the English Imperial Library, which you guys should all have by now. And under the title block folder, these are all the title block family that Revit comes with, right? And we want to pick, and unfortunately, they don't have ArcD, traditional ArcD. They have this one, which is not really the size we need, but that's what we're going to start with. So D, 22 inches by 34 inches. You open that, and then now we are able to create a sheet using this title block. So I'm going to click that and click that. So now I have a brand new sheet. It's right here, A101, and it's unnamed. Let's just do a really quick sanity check here. And we're going to measure. So that's 2'10", which is what, 30 inches. And this should be 22. Yeah. So this is not really the size that we need. So now we're going to go ahead and modify this, use this as a base, and then modify it to the size that we actually need to do in our business. And maybe one of you guys can do the research on why Autodesk makes the ArcD size 2 inches shorter than it actually is. I'm not quite sure. I never did the research on that or the background. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and modify this. And this is a lesson in creating our very first family. In this case, we're going to create our very first title block family. So what you do is you're going to click on that and you're going to go to Edit Family. The first thing I want you to realize up here is now it's not our project name, but this is D22 by 34 horizontal sheet. That's the file name, right? Whereas if I come here, this is East Ridge floor plan. So please be mindful that now I have two separate projects open. One is our East Ridge project, and the other is we're actually editing a family. It's a separate file. So I obviously don't want to write over the original D-size 22 by 34 sheet of paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Save As. And what I'd recommend is create a folder for yourself somewhere on your computer. In my case, I'm just going to put one on the desktop here where I'm working. And I'm just going to say custom families. And I'm going to double click and I'm going to save it in here. And of course, I'm going to change the name. In my case, I might do like MA for our studio name. MA Art D, right? You guys can name it anything you want as long as you remember what you named it. So I'm going to make this family, I'm going to name them MA Art D, right? So now I have a new file open that says MART, and this is where now I can start modifying. So a couple of things I'm going to do is I'm going to create a reference line, and I'm going to make that 36 inches. So when I do that to here, I've created this reference line that's 36 inches away, right? And that's how I want to make. So then I can take all of that, go to my move tool, and now my sheet is 36 inches. I'm going to do another one here. Reference line, this time 24 inches away. Somewhere there. So now I have my sheet of paper, but it should be, which is 24 by 36. And then we're going to go back and now edit all of this stuff so that it's our own custom office title block. This is where you could do a lot of learning and investigation. So I don't need that. And then I can see that's just a logo and an image. So I don't need that. I'm going to just delete that. That is just a text. It's just whatever we want to type in here. So I can come in here and type whatever. Right? It's just a text. I can study this, and these are all text. So I really, unless I need all this information, I can get rid of all of those. So here, I think what I'll do is I'll just put in my company name or whatever. Let's just say I have my website, www.studioma.com. And by the way, this website is not real, so don't look it up. You won't find it. So I have that. If I have my own logo, that's where I'm going to pop it in. But a couple of things too, though. I find this title block, this border, a little bit too wide for my taste. In my office, we have it slightly smaller. So this is like 3 inches. I only need them like maybe 2 3/4 at the most. So I'm going to see if I can just select all of this. And move it 1 inch. Oops. Okay, so I have that so that I could make the text smaller, just adjust whatever you need. What I'd like you guys to do is just kind of download an image or do whatever, JPEG, and just kind of pop in an image here. All right, I'll show you that pretty soon. So let's take a look at a couple of things that you would want in the title block. If you open this up, you want your logo and your address, right? So go ahead and put any random address. It doesn't really matter to me, but I want you guys to put in a logo and then use a text tool to create an address bar. thing is that this is also pretty standard. This is called a revision table, meaning that if you make changes to the drawing, this is where you update when you make those changes. And then you need a title bar, which you have your project name and the project address, and then the title of the sheet, whether it's a site plan, floor plan. And so these are some of the fundamental elements of a title block. Now, some offices have more stuff than others, but these are just the basic things that you guys should have. A little area for the licensed architect or engineer to stamp. If you have a project number in your office, a project number, a date when the very first drawing was issued, who drew it, who checked it, sheet number, and scale. So these are just really some basic information. So let's go kind of back and forth and see what Revit has. So Revit has this thing. If you click on that, it's a schedule graphics, right? So it's already done. So it has you guys can input the stuff in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of modify that to make sure that it fits my border. So this is a revision number, when it was done, and the date or description. And I'm going to put that somewhere here. Let me see. I actually don't have all my consultants on my title block, so I'm going to delete that. But this is an intelligent, revision table, so you're going to need that, and we're going to get into using this thing later. But I actually don't have this many revisions. If you had this many revisions on a project, you have some serious problems. No more than 4 or 5 revisions typically. So that's what I'm going to keep there. I want to take this line, do that. You can also create new lines too, but I'm just using the lines that are already here, kind of being lazy. And you can see there's this, and then again, big difference here. Let me bring this down here, and let me put them side by side. And this is actually something that I need you guys to pay close attention to. Okay. So up here, guys, under the property, when I click this, it's telling me it's a text, meaning it's just whatever I type. It is what it is. If I click this, it says label. Now, there's a difference between a label and a text. Text is static, meaning whatever you type, that's what it stays. It doesn't change until you change it. A label, you don't type anything on a label. Label actually pulls information from other places. So this is actually very intelligent. So meaning this label, right, is drawing names from somewhere. And if I go to edit type, it's, no, not here. Edit label, sorry. Edit label. It's telling me it's looking for a thing called client name from all of this. So later on, when we start putting in information, it's going to automatically add client name to my project, which is really, really powerful. So you got to be careful that not all text are the same. This is a label. Again, a label, different. This is just a regular text. So let me pull this. Dang it. Wow. This is crazy. It's hard for me to grab at that view. Okay, so I have text, which is different from a label. So I have a label here, client name. And then I have project name and sheet name. I probably want to keep the sheet name the same here. So I'm just going to make it to the width of my title block. And more than likely, sometimes the sheet name gets quite large. So I'm just going to take off this line. And I'll just say sheet name here. I'm going to leave some room for my stamp. there. And then I'll just make a copy of this. I typed CC for copy, by the way. It was a shortcut. And this is where I think I want my project name and the job site address and all that good stuff. So I'm going to take the project name. Oops. I want that here. And I actually want my job site address. And I'm going to have probably 15 sheets of paper. I don't want to have to write down, type, or copy and paste 15 addresses. I just want it to be automatically done. So I'm going to want to create an address label. Client name, I really don't need it at this point because client name is only going to come up on the cover sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and actually, you know what? Instead of deleting it, I will modify this label. So if I go to this label here, edit, right now it's looking for a client name as an information that it wants to fill in with. I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to see if there's project address. Here it is. So I'm saying, hey, I want whatever the project address is, that's what I want over here. That's what I'm saying. So now I have project address, which I'm going to rotate. So I have the project name, so-and-so residence, the address, 1234 Main Street or whatever that is. Just know it's aligning to the center and then to the top of my box. If I wanted to justify it to the left, I can make it left. You guys can feel free to do whatever you guys need to do. Over here, in order for you to bring an image in, I'm just going to simply show you how to do it. I don't think I have. Do I have any images on the computer? Oh, I have some random images here. Might as well bring it. So to do that, you're going to go to Insert. You're going to Import Image. Go to whichever folder you have your images. All right. Where was it? Oh, no. I guess I can't bring those icon stuff in here. What is that? Okay. So whatever image you guys have, you can readjust it, and there you go. So that's your logo, and then you guys could put in your address. So to do an address from scratch, you're going to say insert, create text, and here's a label, right? Label is different from a text. I can go to text, and then I can say I want to use these type of text height. In most cases, you're going to use either 1/8 or 3/32 for text. So I'm going to go 3/32 because I want pretty fairly small text. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Main Street, 10 Beach, California. And so whatever this is, if this is your address. Again, just be mindful whenever you click something, you get a dynamic modified tab where you can center it, and change justification and all of that. So do whatever you guys need to do here to customize it. And then we have a revision table here. I guess extra table for other whatever random stuff that we might want to add to our title block. So we have the project name, project address, sheet name, all that's going to be automatically populated. And then our page number, I want to center that. I'm probably going to keep all of these things in here. Again, if you look at this set of text, that says January 1st. It's not a text, it's a label. It's a more than likely a date label or project issue date, right? So that's going to change. Drawn by, this is going to be just a regular text because you're going to put your initial or whoever drew it. So there's that. And actually, as a matter of fact, this one, I actually have it erased because it's going to be different per sheet. Okay. And then, of course, this is a label. So again, you don't really type this. It's actually drawing the information from the model itself. And it is a scale. It's a scale label. So here we go. So we've kind of created our very first title block, if you will. Now what we need to do is insert this title block into our project, just like how we insert other family components into our project. So you're going to go to, I'm just going to close it up at the same time. So I'm going to say load onto project and close. So I'm going to save it, yes. And then now I come down here, right? So I'm in my Eastridge project right now. I have two title blocks, well, three title blocks loaded now. The larger one, this one, which was kind of too small, and then the third one, which we just modified. So I'm going to click on that, and then here it is. So when I change that, so now I have my new title block, and so I have my first sheet ready to go. And of course, here, if I renumber that, and usually our site plan is, I call it the G series general sheets. So if I go to rename, I can name this G-01. I can just say site plan. I changed it here, so you can see my sheet dynamically changed because that's a label, meaning that label is looking for the sheet information and it pulls it in automatically. And you notice the title, the drawing title, I didn't type anything there. It's pulling that data from this information. So I do not have a project name yet, and I don't have an address here. So how do I change that? So in order to change those project information, you're going to go to Manage, and then you're going to go to Project Information. And here's all the data that you need to fill in. So if you wanted to put in your company name and all of that, you can do that. But here it is, project issue date, project status, client name. So here I might put in my client's name, John Doe. Right? Project address. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. Gotta delete that first. Hey. Oh, it must have pushed that. That's just kind of weird, but that's what Revit does. Again, Main Street, Downey, California, 90242. Project name, that's going to be Doe Residence. Project number, whatever project number you guys want. In my case, it'll be MA 2022, 05. Doesn't matter, right? So I fill in that information once, and then here it is. Doe Residence, 12345 Main Street. So again, this is the power of labels. It's going to pull that information where you don't have to always copy and paste it. You can see here my project number. I didn't put an issue date yet, so right now there's nothing filled out there. And you can see also, because this is a title block family, everything is highlighted, meaning if I want to make changes here, you got to go and change the family, right? So anyway, so there's one sheet. Sorry, this video went for over 20 minutes, but I think I'm going to stop it here. Please do this a few times and get a feel for creating this title block, and then we're going to go back and add more information to the title block, edit the title block. See you guys on the next video.